lami Timbers. Hey.
I moved to Australia in 2014. I decided to make the move there. I had some family there, still have some family there. And I wanted to go and explore and try something new because I'd been living in Johannesburg and I just felt like I needed another challenge. Off I went down to Tasmania, which is this beautiful little island shaped like a vagina really, at the bottom of Australia, kind of like a farm town. The only way I could get into Australia was to actually go and study. Yo guys, but I've finished studying, hey, and like I'm done with this. But the government's like, yeah, but you either have to study something or you like invest like $1 gajillion. I got into what they call a TAFE institution. It was like 10 times the price of any educational institution in South Africa. To kind of shut my DJ career down temporarily because I'm starting again, you know. I hadn't started comedy yet. I tried to make connections with people in nightclubs and venues and bars around the state of Tasmania. I made some cool headway eventually, but it was really hard because people didn't know you and they didn't really care who you were back home. I was humbled by the process. Sometimes I get home 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, sleep all day. That was just a hustle. I kind of got to a point, I think, for me where the peak of frustration met the birth of creativity, because I think sometimes in these situations that's when we are our most creative. That's kind of like a time that we're in at the moment with COVID-19. We're being forced to be innovative, we're being forced to be creative. I don't really actually consider myself a comedian entirely. I would say I'm just an entrepreneur that's exploring many avenues throughout my life, but using, I suppose, teaching and some form of delivery as my ammo. I've performed all over Australia where I started comedy: Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney, New Zealand, United Kingdom, Scotland, and Glasgow, Edinburgh, Cardiff, Dublin, London, Brighton, Manchester, Amsterdam, Hong Kong, Vancouver, Toronto, Seattle, almost America. You know, there's a part of me that feels like for the last 4 years I've been racing, like just doing so much, enjoying the traveling, enjoying the comedy. You know, it's such wonderful places. It's kind of really hard to accept that it all just stops. You don't know when it's going to pick up again. Very hard. The more time I started to spend in Australia, the more I was kind of having this fight with myself, like, wow, there's just these two worlds, these cultural differences. In tropical North Queensland, you know what I mean? It's quite hot. And it's tropical. Yeah, apparently they experience about 322 days of this every year. Because I need to explain the difference between now, and just now. What do you mean now? What do you mean now, just now? Hello! Now still means now all over the world. We can agree that if I'm gonna go to the club now, we're going now. We're going right this second. But now is like kind of adding another noun to it now, you know what I mean? I might go brush my teeth. Let me just finish this drink. Like, just give me some extra now. Why gotta be so extra, bruh? So that's what now is. Okay, you got it. But in Africa, we've got a third one. Because we complicate things. Except, you know what I'm saying? Cuz, don't shoot here. Don't shoot here, Lani. We got all sorts of nows. You go to Cape Town, even if you go to all these other places you check, you still got a just now, you got a now, you got a every now, what now, who now, where now, bunny chow. So you got all kinds of nows you check. Hey, Baba, it means when I feel like now has arrived, we can go to the club. Just now is now, but later. Just now. This is too long for now. Lots of nows. Check, I just want to change a spare tire. Got one spinner, wanna put it on the back rim there. You check.
Even if you live in like butt nowhere, you can still be like, we are going just now. Yeah, this lekker by die see.
In summary, basically, now, and just now, none of it means immediately. None of it has anything to do with now, especially just now. Yeah, how is that for today's English lesson? 101, Afronglish. And a lot of people ask me about this because people are like, what is Australia like? I've been there for 5 years. I think I can quite comfortably say I've probably traveled more of Australia than half of Australia has. It's just they haven't got that far. It's such a big country, there's so much to see. As South Africans, we speak at the forefront of the mouth. Everything's done at the front. Everything's kind of catapulting over the palate so that we can attack people, so that we can buy people with our accents.
The roads are flooding. The demister is not working. Where's the demister?
But let me tell you something. This is Cape Town, brother. You better slow it down. You take your GP number plates and you keep that speed to GP, alright?
Because I'm a demister.
Otherwise, I'm gonna go to council. I'm gonna put in a petition to get some speed bumps put into these roads, alright?
I'm a demister.
Because you all got places to be. That's why we're in our cars.
Oh, no, Lord Jesus.
You know that if you live in Cape Town, you only indicate after you've turned, but you don't do it before. In Cape Town, when it comes to traffic, it's like chunky cottage cheese, brother. It's an absolute fight for any gap that you can find, and you take that and you make it your own. And the moment that there's a cloud or rain, then come hello high water, it's every man for himself, okay?
That's the South African attitude, it's the South African way, and it comes across in a very abrasive, very aggressive, sometimes arrogant, very prefrontal cortex, all that kind of stuff at the front accent. Australia is very, very different.
How are you going there, mate?
In Australia, it's A, E, I, O, U. You!
Things can be very pronounced, but it all has to sit at the back of your throat. And get relaxed with it. Get your tongue and your nose and your mouth and your lips and everything kind of working together. As much as Australia actually has a very kind of relaxed, laid back sort of accent, it is very much a lot of effort in itself if you're learning it, because it really sort of sits at the back, Hey, how are you? What's going on today? Are you off to the shops to grab a couple of packets of ciggies, or would you prefer to relax on the beach? Now, it's not as aggressive because a lot of Aussies will just carry on speaking. They don't have to do the whole thing that I'm kind of doing. I just exaggerate it to make it funny. So it works a lot like that. Australia is very similar to South Africa in that people have similar values, they do similar things, they have a similar kind of lifestyle. The same with New Zealand. These are my top 10 facts about Australia that you need to be aware of when coming down under. Abbreviations will blow your damn mind. Some of them will grate your skin. For example, a blanket is a doona, and a small beer to medium beer is known as a schooner. So you got blanket, doona, beer, schooner. A joint is called a Wendy, but Ugg boots are so not trendy. A cigarette is called a Dari, but also too many people name their dogs Charlie. Some abbreviations I'm just like, you know what, you do you, I'll do me. Australia is just full of people roaming the streets, always at the beach, including myself, but I do work hard, I work very hard for my business. Actually, everyone's chucking a circus when you're sick, when you've hurt your left toe and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm taking a week off work. You would be dying before you take a day off work in Africa. Thank you very much. Everything in Australia is packaged to perfection. Like, I'm talking about buying yourself a Nando's peri-peri sauce in this country and it takes you an hour to open that thing, because the sauce came with a phosphil, a stamp of approval, a stamp of bugger all, a laminated protection thing in case I dropped the sauce off the Eiffel Tower. It's like, you might as well put the fucking thing in bubble wrap, because you open the box to get a plastic. In the plastic you got a paper, and then under the paper there's a foil and this and that. Eventually you'll get a rusk, which is about 25 grams. Thank you. $5 for wrapping, $1 for the rusk. Life is great, mate. Australia's full of tractor drivers and people in the middle of the outback carving a rock. It's not like that. Australia is a rainbow nation, immigrants from everywhere, and there's such a great sense of unity. Asian influence, European influence, Americans, Canadians, more Canadians than Americans, thankfully. Such a great sense of culture to Australia, which Australia needed since the beginning. I'm going to get absolutely murdered for that one. What do you think of TV in Australia, Dean?
The commercials are stupid.
The commercials are stupid, man. That's coming from a Canadian. Sorry to say, but TV in Australia is terrible. And I'm not just referring to reality TV, which is really hindering the progress of any normal relationship in society altogether. Other than My Kitchen Rules, that is an exception. Even the weather has just gotten disastrous. They're either putting like a supermodel doing the weather and be like, it's gonna be cold in Melbourne. Well, we knew that. Look, here's the weather for you. If you're in Brisbane, it's gonna be fucking hot. Headline news Sunday night, a pop plant was stolen like Footscray. It's like, really? Thank you very much. Honestly, let's talk about some real issues. I come from a country where like hijacking makes the third page. Right, moving swiftly forward before I get done by half the country. Australia is like a have some data country. I got a mobile phone contract. I pay a couple $100 a month. I've got insurance and all the extras, as well as about 75 gigs of data a month. Seriously, I am hotspotting the universe. 75 gigs. I remember when my house used to get 1 gig a month. I've spoken about them time and time again. They think they rule the earth. Cyclists in Australia are given a lane which is, well, wider than most highways in South Africa. They think it's an autobahn where they can do the Tour de fucking France. And nowadays you've got a couple of different cyclist types which they've identified in Western Australia who are trying to keep up with the rest of Australia because they're so far away. And so they've now implemented speed humps as if, you know, Western Australia are actually not going slow enough. But then you've got, you know, the amateur cyclist like me who just, you know, is obviously learning bicycle for the first time and just wants to go and get an avocado for the price of 20 bags of rice. Don't even be surprised when you are driving down the road and someone just goes wah and just starts crossing the road. You can have an 18-wheeler truck coming at 150 kilometers down the road. An Australian pensioner or someone to that effect will just cross the road and be like, it's fine, they'll stop. Hey, come to Africa and you're gonna wake up dead. You're still gonna die if you cross. The road needs to be completely empty, and you must even check for other side effects, like a taxi cutting corners and yielding when they're supposed to stop. They will just come and they will chop you. Alcohol in Australia is restricted. And Australia wonders why they have a big drug problem. You will find a line somewhere on the glass in Australia, right? And that's something like this. This is what it looks like to an African. Yeah, you know what, I probably am exaggerating, but to the rest of the world I'm not. That's what it looks like. Where I come from, it's about being bottomless. It's about just filling it to what it should be. The perfect glass. And I often say to people, you just land in Johannesburg and you just feel it. What's it? Gluten free. Hey. Check our savings. Check. Yeah. You can swipe your card. Decline. Can try again. Thank you. Have a lovely day. And even when I'm back in South Africa and I feel frustrated with certain things and things don't go all our way and there's a lot of different pressures, you know, every country has their nonsense. Okay guys, what is up with this whole radio trend? Remember to hashtag stay safe, stay at home, and all these bloopers and blimpers and glitches and clams and vumas and villas coming on the radio telling us #1 hits all through COVID-19. What was your life like BC before Corona? I mean, stop creating your own adjectives, stop creating your own acronyms, stop making this a thing. It's not a thing. Guys, why am I still wearing my hey? You can just crush your dreams if you stand on that thing for 5 seconds because it's wireless. I'm in the motherland, guys. I'm in the motherland. I can't even see Lion's Cop today, eh? Guys, Cape Town is so slow. People even driving past me like, why haven't you got your mask on? Because there's no one in my car, that's why. I'm actually going to strangle someone. But I feel correct here. I feel like it's right. So it's a continuous battle, and I think for expats that do live overseas, I think you never quite get over it. I think you never quite let it go. It's a really hard move to make. You have to adapt to a lot of rules. There's so many rules. South Africa is too far this way. You know, the rules are broke, the rules are bent, the rules are manipulated, the rules can be broken, there's corruption, there's so much happening. It's just too far that we just need to kick it up a bit. A is for April, B is for Brontosaurus, C is for Simba. D is for Dr. Mukevun. E is for party goers. F is for effervescence. F is for effervescence. F is something. But you know, a place like Australia and to a certain degree New Zealand is too far that way. There's too many rules and too many regulations, in my opinion. But it makes it work. You know, it makes it a safe, clean environment to live in. And I think for security purposes, that's why a lot of people do leave. I have no doubt in my mind that the number one reason people leave South Africa and go to live in the UK and US and all that is either because they've had an opportunity they simply cannot resist because they are highly skilled, well, they're sought after, or it's a move on oneself, who someone has made the decision that they want a safer life to live in and to earn a currency that favors them and allows them to travel other parts of the world. But then it's so different in so many ways, you know. Even my Aussie friend always used to say to me like, "Oh, Kev, you know, you come from South Africa, you can't be scared of our insects and our animals and stuff here because you're like, you've got so many big animals. You got like elephants and lions and you got fucking, you know, monkeys and fucking baboons and gorillas and all sorts of things that can catch ya." And I'm just like, yeah, but like the Australian side of things, it's like, it's the shit that you can't see that's really scary, you know?
What we have here is a giant lagoon of almonds, saltwater crocs inside the site. But I've been waiting and waiting, walking into the face of danger.
Want to spotella these crocodiles.
I will wait and I will wait again. I've got the patience.
I like these huntsman spiders and brown snakes and Urukanji jellyfish the size of my left nut. Yeah, that would be generous. Yeah, there's some stuff there. But I've always been, I mean, I'm a classic Gemini. I enjoy traveling. I could live in a new country every week.
Hey guys, how's it going? Sharp rights. I'm just chilling here in Bali, in Wish. It's hot, hey? It's so hot. Like even when you open the weather app and it says to you that it's 31, but then the weather app it says it feels like it's 37. So I'm thinking, why not just put 37? Because if the feels like it's 37, then that is obviously the temperature that I am experiencing. Don't put 31, then compliment me with 6 degrees and tell me that it feels like you get 37. Hey, it's too hot.
I actually haven't fully given this guy credit because he found my video. This is quite surreal. Yeah, so go onto his videos and he posts other people's videos and stuff, but he found my video of that. He ripped it and uploaded it and titled it. Look at that, 1 point. That's the one. This is the original. I just got goosebumps.